Okay, hello everyone. Can you all hear me? Yes? Okay, cool. Well, I hope you're enjoying the Odoo experience so far, and thank you for being here, first of all. I guess you know already more or less what I'm going to talk about and my name, but let me give you a quick refresh. So I'm Anna, I'm part of the manufacturing expertise team within the business analysts at Odoo, and today we're going to talk about manufacturing at the employee level with Odoo. Before we start, there is here the Q&A pad. You know how it works. Just feel free to scan it. If you have any questions while I'm talking, just leave them there. And then at the end of my talk, we will have a few minutes to discuss them together. Okay. All right. So when thinking about manufacturing, you could think, okay, manufacturing is a process, manufacturing is a conversion, manufacturing is an industry. And those are all correct concept in the end, but let me give you a more complete definition as defined by the Britannic Encyclopedia. Manufacturing is defined as any industry that makes products from raw materials by the use of manual labor or machinery, and that is usually carried out systematically with a division of labor. What I would like here to do is to put the focus on labor, because that's what my talk is going to be about. We're going to talk about labor in the manufacturing process sector. So the conversion of raw materials into something more useful adds value that increases the price of the finished product. So this makes the manufacturing process a very profitable part of a business. In order to add the highest value, companies should manage their processes efficiently. This way, they will be able to reduce costs on one hand and increase productivity on the other hand. How can they do it? Accuracy is key here. So without precise data and monitoring, companies struggle to follow up on the revenues and costs and do not manage to achieve the goal of continuous improvement. Instead, with precise data and monitoring, companies can make informed decisions and boost efficiency. For manufacturing companies and companies in general, there is one equation that is very clear, which is profit equal revenues minus cost. That's simple, right? However, it is not so simple, and many companies still struggle to understand what is their most profitable product. And there are three main reasons because of that. So first thing, there is a shortage of raw materials and labor. Secondly, these raw materials and labor have fluctuating costs that are hard to keep up with. And thirdly, companies face unpredictability in production volumes on a daily basis. So again, tracking costs is very difficult, but it's very crucial. So as I just said, keeping track of costs is difficult, but with Odoo, of course, it's made easier. So with Odoo 16 last year, we had already a new great addition. So we were able to add labor to our direct cost analysis. So not only we had components as direct costs, but we added labor on top of that, and that was great already. With Odoo 17, we went one step further, and we are finally able to answer to numerous questions that we received over the years and that you might have received yourselves, which is the possibility to assign specific employees to work orders. If you check the previous talks, you already had an overview of that, and I'm also going to show you in my demo. But on a theoretical level, why is it so important to assign people? There are two main reasons. The first one is planning. So thanks to this, we are now able to check all the time what's happening in their shop floor, who's doing what, for how long, is there still something that we need to assign? So we keep track of that, of course. And on the other hand, which is more what I'm going to discuss today, is because we assign someone and therefore someone will work on something, we will be able to have precise cost allocation based on that. So our cost analysis will be as accurate as it can be. Let's now check our use case. So meet Truffle Crafters, a Belgian artisanal company specialized in making truffles. So as a side note, for those of you also who came from abroad, like I did a few years ago, make sure you don't leave Belgium unless you tried some real Belgian truffles. And back to Truffle Crafters. So far, they manage their business without many issues, but over the years, with the rise of competitors, with the shortage of ingredients, they identified some gaps in their revenues, and we're going to see why. This is our situation a few years ago. So I would like to draw your attention to two things here. First thing is our cost per unit, which you can see on the bottom there, which is 522. This is our total cost of production, let's say. Another thing I would like you to check is labor. Here, labor is taken as a component. So this is, as we call it, a workaround. And as you all know, workarounds work, of course. They do something, but they are still not as accurate as it could be. Another thing I would like you to check here is that our labor cost here is put, as I said, as a component, and we have 7 hours 50 of labor as a BOM component. However, our total operation time is 5 hours, and why is there a mismatch here? To show you that, I'm going to jump into my database. All right. So that refers to employee capacity. It's a field that you can access in the operations once you have the developer mode activated, by the way. And this refers to the number of people needed to perform a specific operation. So in this case, we have 4 operations, as you saw also in the previous slide. And here we have, for instance, this operation lasting 2 hours. So our work center will be running for 2 hours. So our work center costs, like electricity and so on, will be taken into account for those 2 hours. But we have 2 people working for those 2 hours. So here we need to calculate two people in parallel for 2 hours means 4 hours of labor. The same goes for our third operation, which has a duration of 30 minutes. But for those 30 minutes, we have 2 people again in parallel. So we need to make sure we count 1 hour of labor and not half an hour. So that is why in total we have 7 hours 50 in our component computation. So this is still, as I said, a workaround. It gives an idea of what our labor should be, and it still allows us to somehow take into account labor when we calculate our theoretical cost of production. But as I said, we are far from accuracy. Let's check their situation when they were able to input labor costs within the operations, so a much more precise outcome here. You can see, though, that the cost compared to before, which was 522, is now 520. So the result is not much different, and we are still far from reality, actually. The only difference here is the cost of operations that you can see here is much higher now because employee capacity is taken into account, and also the cost per employee that you can set on the work center. This is, of course, again, not accurate because it's drawn making an average of all the employees working on our line, and then, okay, their total cost, their average cost will be X, and then at least we have an idea, but it's again just an idea, and it's again just theoretical. Another reason why this is not precise is that our employees have different costs because they have different skills, different experience, different job positions, and therefore it will be very important, as I will show you in my demo, to see exactly who worked on which order, because that will have a big impact. Jumping again in my database, I just want to show you my employees here and their real cost. So this is my production employees. We have Diego here. Here we have his hourly cost of 30 euros per hour. If we check Grace, it's 75. Lisa, it's 80. Matt is 70. This is the field I'm referring to. Sophie is 40, and finally we have William with an hourly cost of 20. So as you can see, my hourly costs differ greatly between employees. So now, before we check the real time tracking and the real execution of an order, I will just go back to the feature I was mentioning earlier, which is the assignation of work orders. So you already saw it probably how it's done, but just a quick refresh again. We have here our manufacturing orders, a list of them. How can we assign people? Simply from here, from the manufacturing order itself. You have here a column called assign, where we can assign 1 or more, as you can see, employees. In my case, as I said, first and third steps require 2 people, and that's why I assign 2 of them in this case. Another way in which you could assign your employees, if you want to make it faster, and also if you know that it's always going to be the same person making the same operation, making the same work orders, you can go in the list view of your work orders, for instance, group by operation. And here you could say, select all, and then assign for all of them your employees. So that's very fast. As I said earlier, also, we have now a better planning thanks to this assignation. So I will just jump into my planning. Here I already saved a pre-default filter where I grouped by work center and assigned. And here it's very nice because we have a total overview, in this case of my month, and I can see easily, okay, who is doing what, so I can check what's the workload as well of my employees. And also I can see easily if I still have something to assign, and very easily again, I can just edit and assign on the fly an operation. So that makes the production manager's life a lot easier. Let's now execute this order. What we could do is, of course, just produce all, but I want to go in our brand new Shopfloor application that if you attended the previous talk, you already seen how it works. So I will not spend too much time on that. Here we have a lot of orders, manufacturing orders that are all ready to be started. I will take order number 42 because it's the one I'm supposed to do today, so I will take this as my example. In this case, my first operation is chocolate tempering and molding. So the system redirects me in one click to my work center. Here, everything's grayed out. Why is that? Because I'm logged in currently as Lisa, and Lisa doesn't have access to this work center. She's not allowed to perform any operation within this work center. I know in this case it's Diego and Matt taking care of this step. So I will log in as them in one click, and we can easily start the time here. Matt will do the same in parallel, so they will be able to launch the timer together and share the same user, same tablet, but have multiple employees. Then they will, in case if they want, open the worksheet, if they need to check any instructions, consume what they need to consume. In this case, they have some dark chocolate, and mark as done. Next step is Grace. So, well, you see also that our manufacturing order has moved to the top. It's in progress, so we have also an easy overview of what is currently in progress compared to what's still to be started. And here I have the ganache preparation and flavor infusion in the laboratory. Again, Grace is the only employee who has access to this, so she will log in, start the time, and then consume the components and mark as done. Something else you can notice here is that here the employees are able to see what they've been assigned to from the My Work Orders view. Afterwards, we have the filling and finishing. In this case, I have again 2 people working in parallel, but in this case, it's going to be Sophie and William. So again, they will make the timer, start, up, consume the cocoa powder, mark as done. And this brings us to our last step of the manufacturing process, which is a quality evaluation step. For this, we have the quality area work center. And in this case, Lisa, our specialized person performing the quality step, has also a PIN code. This is to avoid that accidentally someone can log in as her or can accidentally validate the quality check, which is a very important step because it gives us the green light for our sales afterwards. So Lisa will be able to just input her password or scan her badge in case. And then she will be able to just do the quality evaluation, pass or fail. We're going to pass it now, mark as done, and eventually close the production. So regarding costs and real-time tracking, I'm going to cheat here a little bit because I cannot keep you here for 4 hours. So I will just go back to my slide and show you the final result when people actually worked for the estimated time they were supposed to. Sorry. Okay. So there are a few things I want you to pay attention to here. Our total cost per unit is now 550 compared to before when it was 520. So this is a big difference when actually nothing different happened than expected. It's just different people worked on the order, but it's not like they worked more or less. It's just a matter of accurate cost analysis here. So then the other thing I want you to pay attention to is we have a lot more records in our cost of operation. So each employee has left a mark in our cost analysis and with the specific time they worked for, their cost per hour, and this translates in a total cost and a final total cost per unit. Of course, now you could argue this is not realistic. People are not machines. They will not work for 2 hours straight. They will not work for 1 hour and a half straight. I know. And I'm going to jump to a different use case. I will not demonstrate it, but it's just to give you the idea of how accurate Odoo can be. In this case, we have an extra operation, actually, which I called dusting. So let's imagine quality check it's not good, it doesn't pass, and our supervisor requires us to dust the truffles more evenly, so with a cocoa powder. So what will happen is that our work center will be running for an extra half an hour, and our employee Matt, in this case, also will need to work for an extra half hour. You can see it's grayed out because it's an operation we added on the fly, thanks to the brand new shop floor feature, and therefore it's not something in the bill of material. Something else that you can see here is that people didn't work exactly for this right amount as they were supposed to, because people leave early, they stay longer, they have extra preparation from the day before, so it takes them a bit less time or more. So this, of course, will give precise results in the cost analysis, and with the cost per hour again, translate in a total cost that in this case is 575 compared to 550 compared to 520. So you can see our costs can vary greatly just based on a few little differences in our execution. And this is made very simple with Odoo. So yeah, this brings me to the end of my talk. So in conclusion, the integration of employee login, cost analysis, and work order assignation systems in the manufacturing sector, thanks to Odoo, can allow people and companies to boost their efficiency, to reduce their costs, and manage their productivity in the best way possible. Thanks to, by aligning these processes, they will be able to have a much more competitive and agile shop floor environment, driving sustained growth and success. So thank you for listening to me. You have here the Q&A pad, so feel free to leave any question you have, and I'll be happy to answer to that. Hi.
Well, Anna, thank you so much for your amazing presentation. So I see that people are typing their questions, so go ahead. I have a couple already. So is it possible to integrate employee assignation with HR for time off, etc.?
No, actually it's not. So right now the assignation, as I showed you, is only manual. So you just need to know it based on the principle that the production manager knows who's supposed to do what. Actually, it's something that maybe we can have in the future. It's great feedback, but right now it's not integrated. So yeah.
All right, thanks. So the next question is, what happens if Matt starts the work order? Would it count time for Matt and Diego, or only for Matt, while Diego has to log in and start the counter for his own time spent? That's someone who paid good attention.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I understood correctly, but
So if Matt starts the work order, is it automatically start the timer for as well Matt as Diego?
No, only for Matt. Yeah. So Diego would need to log in as well to just click on the box on the top of the shop floor. Otherwise, the timer will only start for Matt, of course. Yeah.
So is there a way to observe the evolution of the employee hourly rates in history?
Yes, I would say so. Maybe with some reporting, I think you would be able to have some, because I know there is a production analysis reporting menu, and there you can check your total employee cost per order. Maybe by playing with some filters, you would be able to split it by employee, but I'm not entirely sure actually.
Okay. And is there a work order per employee planning view in the Gantt chart?
Work order per employee, yes, totally. Just playing with filter, group by. Yeah, it's there. It's called assigned in the system. So it's not called employee, but assigned if you're looking for it. Yeah.
So someone else was wondering if there is any possibility to check employee skills versus work orders.
No. Again, it's not integrated with the employee app. The only integration is the hourly cost, but skills-wise, nothing. You could maybe play with that again. You with the employees app, you manage the skills. Then when you're about to assign, you can have two screens and try to find a way, but there is no direct integration right now.
All right. So if a person scraps a part, will the cost of the part for the will it be accounted for in the finished goods cost, automated product categories for all parts and finished goods? So basically, if you scrap a part, will it still be accounted for in the total cost of the production?
No, normally not,
Yeah.
because it will be scrapped. So it will not be the stock move generated will be to the scrap location, which removes any value.
So I have two more.
Yeah.
Is it possible to evaluate which employee worked on which work order in the review and via the evaluation of the work center?
Review, what's meant by review?
I suppose it's more about a reporting to see who worked on which.
Yeah, that's totally possible.
Yeah.
You go in the work orders, you remove the filter, otherwise you will only see the ones in progress or ready to be launched. You can see the done ones grouped by, play with some reporting. I think it's possible.
Okay, and then, so why do we have the passwords where each employee has his own session with login and password? Why do we need the logins?
Well, it depends, because not necessarily all your employees will have a user associated to them. So in the case where you have one user for your whole shop floor, which is a more, it's a cheaper way actually also, you need to make sure that, as I was mentioning for our employee Lisa, that you don't have people logging in accidentally just because they clicked on the wrong one and then start performing things, and it could easily be messy.
So it's optional.
It's optional, of course, yeah.
All right. And the last one, well, they keep on going, but I think we have time. Is there any workaround for accounting and scrap part cost and finished good cost? Yeah, but as Anna already said, it's not taken into account. So can a production user see employee cost in overview?
Can a production user see cost of employees?
In the cost overview in the back ends?
Good question. I think it's a matter of access rights. I'm not sure, because the cost per employee is only visible from the employee app, not really from manufacturing. So
I'm
if
sure
they don't have
Anna-
full access rights.
I'm sure Anna will happily check that with you at the booth,
Yes,
so you can find her there.
Yeah.
And then, can you cheat and close production order as a user before doing, I think, quality check they wanted to say, maybe? The question is not finished.
Okay.
So can they close a manufacturing order before doing the quality check?
No, it will give you a user error saying you need to open the shop floor to do the quality check. So not only you cannot close it, but you're forced to use the shop floor if you have quality checks. That's the only way.
Thank you. And then the last question, can employees assign themselves for the shop floor, for the work orders?
Yeah, I guess well, you need a user to assign. So if they have a user and they have high access rights, I guess they could. It's all about the configuration. But if they're only employees and they don't have a user, no, they cannot really interact with the backend. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you so much,
Okay,
Anna, for all
thank
the
you.
questions. And you can find her and the rest of our team at the booth for any further
Yes.
questions. Thank
Don't
you.
hesitate. Thank you. Thanks.